Hey, Marianne, Hickman here. Welcome back to the show. Today is Talk Tips number 23. What the heck is a value ladder? Check it out. So what's a value ladder? When do you need to build one? What should you include on it? How do you price your products? All of this is contained in this document that you're going to be making, which is your value ladder. Now, you might be surprised to find that the value ladder is not one of the first things that you do in your business. In fact, it's step number 7. Now, I'm going to show you a speaker journey sheet. I've got all of the 11 steps of the speaker journey. You can make sure to grab that. So I'm going to include this document, the speaker journey, in the show notes. Now, this is what I have outlined for you as far as what it takes to get paid to speak on stage. Now, I've talked about this in other videos before, but let's backtrack just a little bit before we go into the value ladder completely, because I want to tell you where the money comes from in speaking. The first, and the thing that people think the most about, is the stage fee. In other words, how much do you get paid when you show up and speak for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour? They cut you a check and you're done, right? That's what most people think of. But if you don't sell after you get off stage, then get this, you're missing out on 60% of your revenue. So you've got to be able to have a tripwire that you have clients or audience members opt into so that they become leads, and then those leads become clients later on. So let's talk about this value ladder. The reason it's step number 7 is because you don't want to create stuff that might be in your zone of genius, but that your audience doesn't even care about. Please, please, please don't make the mistake I did and create courses that nobody's asking for. You don't want to carve a hole in the marketplace. You need to fill an existing gap in the marketplace. So thing number 1 is listen to your customers. And this is why this is step number 7 in this document right here. The first step is to define your expertise, know what you're good at. Second step number 2 is start your signature keynote presentation. Step number 3 is to create your ebook or your tripwire, in other words. And then you're going to take the stage and then you're going to sell. Okay, if you don't have anything else to sell, you're going to use one-on-one, unless you already have a fleshed out value ladder that you know people want. Step number 6 is fulfillment. In other words, give them what you promised to give them. And then step number 7 is flesh out this value ladder. Now, you're going to learn a lot about what people want just by listening to your audience. Now, they're going to tell you things. They're going to tell you, I wish I had known this earlier. Or maybe you have a community, which, by the way, you need to build. You've got to have a community. You've got to either have a school group like mine or a Facebook community or something where your audience can gather and learn from you, and you can learn from them as well. And you're going to get a ton of information just by assembling and moderating this community. So here's my rule. If I get asked the same question more than 2 times from different people, then I'm going to answer it in the form of a product, and that product then goes into my value ladder. For example, step number 3 is to create an ebook. I had person after person after person asking me to write their ebooks with and for them. I've written 16 books so far this year, myself and other books included. Now, I started answering people's questions and said, oh my gosh, this is such a valuable product. This is such a valuable thing that people need help with. I'm going to say, I'm going to make this into a product. I know how long it takes me. I know what I need to do in the process. I'm going to say it costs about $250. If someone wants to pay me to write their ebook with them, and then they now have a tripwire to turn their audience into leads, I got asked more than twice from 2 different people. Now it's a product. You sit down with me, $250 in an hour, we'll have your ebook done. Boom, that goes right into my value ladder. And here's the other cool thing. I multiply that into multiple products. So I filmed myself making the ebooks every single time. I got a process down. I recorded the entire process. I recorded myself doing the process. I put it into a course. I sell that course for less than $100. People can buy that in DIY. They can buy my time and I can do it with them. And then they have a book. They've got a tripwire done. So I've got 2 items now on my value ladder that I know fill a need and are priced appropriately and competitively in the market. Now, here's the thing with your value ladder. If it takes your time, then it costs more money. Here's what I mean by that. I've got a community that's $9 a month to be in. Right? It takes very, very little of my time. Do I still like to have a personal touch in that community? Yes. Maybe eventually I'll hand it off and have it moderated by one of my coaches, but it takes very, very little of my time to have maximum impact. In other words, it's not one-on-one, it's one-on-group. I have courses that took me a couple hours to make. Once it's done, it's done. And so I can charge very little for those courses because I'm multiplying my time. I have a course that's $29, I have a course that's $47, and it's super, super valuable for the people that are buying it. It's worth well more than what they pay for it, but I get away with it because I'm not using that time over and over and over again. Make once, sell it lots. Okay. Now, if it takes more of my time, like my Wednesday night calls, it costs me an hour a week to do that. I love spending my time this way, by the way, but it costs the public more than just $29 because it's taking my time. It's my most valuable resource. My one-on-one coaching costs the most. You get closest proximity to me, you get privatest proximity to me, and it costs the most because it's using the most of my time. It's not one-on group. It's one-on-one. So as you're building your value ladder, that's how things need to be structured. Your cheapest item is your free item. That is your giveaway. That is your tripwire. The 2-digit items, the 3-digit items, they are make once, sell over and over and over again. Your multi-$1,000 items are taking now more and more of your time, and you're spending less and less time in a group setting and more private time with your individuals. I want to know what you're building in your value ladders. If you have questions, throw them in the comments so I can make a video just for you. Maybe your video will be one of the talk tips one day. I want to hear from you. Let me know what questions you have, and subscribe, follow, and we'll see you in the next video.
Marianne Hickman here again. Listen, I hope super helpful for you. Maybe you learned something new. Share with me in the comments what was valuable. Or if you have this whole separate question like, hey, I wanted to know about this. I wanted to know about stage fright. I want to know how about my presentation on stage. I want to know about how to dress on stage. Anything that you want to know that's relevant to growing your business through stages, put the questions. Because guess what? I go through and answer all of those personally. That's not an agency or a VA. That's me going through and looking at your questions because you are who I am here for. So last thing is I want you to get this database. If you haven't gotten it already, now I've got thousands of downloads on this thing, so maybe you've got it, but if not, make sure you go to mariannehickman.com/database. What that's going to do is take you to a page. You're going to input all of your information. We're going to send the database to you. You're going to request access to it. I keep it locked down so I can make sure I get it to just the right people, and you're going to request access. And then once you have that, you're going to go through and apply to podcasts that have the topic that you'd be an expert speaking on. Here's the thing. I get this database updated twice a week. So there's always new stuff in there. And if you're a podcaster, there's even a list of guests that you can have on your show on that podcast. Maybe you end up doing a podcast swap and you grow your audience that way. Regardless, I want you to get it. So mariannehickman.com/database, and we'll see you in the next Talk Tips.